Alright, let's get started here. This is the beginning of Part 6, and we are in receipt of some fresh new metal. I ordered from two places, the Bus Depot and California Import Parts. Bus Depot had this to me by Friday midday. I ordered it Sunday evening. That's good. The only thing I didn't like is the way they packed the bigger of the two packages. They just put a single piece of tape across this long ways, and so when the UPS guy is getting it out, this was open. He was having to shove pieces back into the box. It appears I've got everything, but the other box here, you can see must have been packed by a different guy because it is very well securely packed. So, you know, if we had just had a couple pieces running side to side, this wouldn't have happened. Anyway, let's take a look at it. I have not actually pulled these out. Let's see what they look like. Pretty good. And there's a little shipping damage, very little shipping damage, but to be honest with you, I don't actually need everything anyway. I will most likely use it all, but I may not. I may cut it below. It depends on what that looks like over there, because this is a really long weld here. I'd prefer to weld shorter sections, if that's possible. And this is the other side. The reason I went and got entire panels is because the whole panel was like $80 from Bus Depot. And these smaller sections were, you know, if I get this one and I get that one, which I kind of need in some, you're looking at $50. And if nothing else, there's a whole bunch of nice gauge steel here that I'll have left over I can use. Here's some more the window frame repair kits. That's all that. Now let's look at what the main piece looks like here. Let me get these big panels out of the way. This is the one that I'm most interested in, because it's the rear battery compartment corner. That's pretty cool. Oh Lord, is it that dull? That's just extremely tight. super well packed. I like that. Let's see, this is also one of the floor pans. That's right. I think this is the passenger side. Yeah, this is the passenger side floor pan, and I got the driver's side from CIP. Nice. It's totally undamaged. And yeah. Man, they did an amazing job packing it. Amazing. Look at how good that looks. Now, I won't be working on this today. I'm going to be working on the windshield first. And besides, I'm still waiting on the battery trays to come in anyway. But, wow, look at this thing. It looks awesome. And Best Depot had it for a much better price. Fantastic. I'm pretty happy about that. Today, this is what we're going to be working on now. This is the let's see if that's in frame there. Yeah. These are the pieces that will be used to repair a very rotten window frame. See, this will go right up in here like so. Nice. So all I gotta do is cut right along this fold, this crease here at the body. This will fit down in here perfectly. I'll have to trim off a little bit here. Most likely what I'll need to do is I'll need to do a little bit of work to get this to fit exactly right in here. This is not quite doesn't fit exactly perfectly, but it's so much easier than having to go and fabricate these pieces. Now, there's a big dent here and here. So when I cut this out, I'll use my spot puller and pull these out. In fact, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut the metal away. I want to do that. I might start pulling this first so that there's something that it can pull on back here. There's not a lot here anyway, but something's better than nothing. So let's get rolling. So what I'm going to do here is I need to sand off the primer paint that is down inside that dent. And I use this, it's kind of a, like, I think they call it Unispot or something like that. It, you basically spot weld on these little, like, nail heads, and then use that slide hammer to pull on them to pull the dents out. It's really, it works really good, especially in something like this where you can't get back behind it with a, like, planishing
Okay,
hammer or something.
so you probably remember what it looks like before, and this light might be hard to catch it, but you know, it's not perfect yet, but by and large, this dent was able to pull out. Now, you'll notice I had to use the hammer a couple times because as I'm using the slide hammer, it's pulling this whole thing out because there's just nothing here. So I need to keep that crease there, so I use that planishing hammer. So this is good enough for me to now start cutting this away and working on the next main phase here. Alright, so we're making some headway here. Getting this opened up. This back panel looks real good. It's got surface rust on it, but you know, nothing major. Almost all the rust is up here on this shelf. In fact, I'm gonna have to work a bit to get this back piece off right through the middle here. These had some rust in between the two pieces, so they came off fairly easy. But you see, I'm gonna have to go. I won't have to cut. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to cut a lot on this. This side, though, this side was away from the tree. You see how much better it is. So we still got some work here, but you know, we're making some headway.
All right, I'm gonna work on cutting out the rest of this bad metal around this windshield frame here. As I'm cutting, it's real. It's kind of hard to see because, one, you got all the sparks right in your face, and you know, it's right up at chest level, so you know it's not easy to get distance from it so you can get a different perspective of it. So you know, I'll cut a bit of metal away, and then I'll use this spot weld chisel and get between the two pieces of metal, hammer that down in there. It's got kind of like sharp edges, so you can essentially cut the one piece of metal away from the other. Then I use this little finger belt sander to sand down the spot welds and prep the metal to get it back to shiny so you can get ready for paint. But one thing I noticed was, as I had been cutting, because I can't see all that good, I had cut too far on the backside. So the window tab in about a 6-inch space there, I had cut, and it was just sort of hanging there out in space. So I needed to tack weld that back on so it's structurally sound again, and I had to clean it up. Um, and yeah, so I'm just continuing to break apart the two panels, busting off the panel metal from the nose cone there, and leaving just the back panel window frame. I'm gonna dry fit this here. See how it looks just from a rough fit.
Okay, take a look at where we're at here. All right, so that's largely cut out and cleaned up. I still need to go, actually, probably up to about here. Clean all that up there. But I'm doing the first dry fitting here of the new window channel. you can see fits pretty good. Now I'm gonna have to work the corners a bit. Got a bit too much material here. That's fine. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Plus, I've got to clean this side out. I've still got to cut some more out here and clean it up. But progress. Okay, let's see what we got here. Getting the new track in. You can see I've got a problem here. As I'm making the turn, my disc wheel is too big, so it's taken out a bit. So now I've got this mess I got to clean up here. So I have to bridge these big gaps, and then I'll have to grind it down and then weld up any holes and shape it a bit. But make a little bit of progress. Okay, end of part 6 here. Let's go over what we accomplished today. We got the half of the bottom of the new window track in place, largely finished, welded. The problem is where the rust was and I cut away, the rust is also behind it, and there's a lot of really thin places in here. Plus there's something hit here and here, so this was all kind of out of whack. So I don't think that was JB Weld. I think it was Bondo that was smeared on here, because you can kind of see down in here where it squeezed through. So I mean, we're making some headway. It's just slow going. Yeah. Tomorrow, come in here and I'm going to do this side, and then I'm gonna probably just hit this with some, I'm gonna take down these edges off these welds here, but because this is all janky from being bent up, this is going to be just skim coated and, you know, shaped a bit with Bondo smoothed over. So I mean, I'm feeling dents all the way across here. So there's just some things to still do. But yeah, long, tedious progress is slow. You can see up in here, it's all just surface rust, thankfully. But this window is gonna be hard. I mean, this is solid, so I think just sand this down and treat it. I think we're good. Yeah. So end of this one, end of 6, I think.